and welcome back to another episode of It's Okay Not to Be Okay. This episode, we're talking a little bit more about a topic that we hope is a little bit more relatable to our viewers. It's more towards Gen Z and the topic of how Gen Z has kind of shaped a little bit more on how they view or how people view mental health in general. Talking about being more open, having more open conversations about it. And we just wanted to see the impact that it has on people from nowadays, even from different generations, from Gen Z, how people handle things. And helping us along again, Dr. Rachna Buksani. Hi, how are you?
Good, Amanda. You're a Gen Z, yes?
I am.
Okay, that's why we're talking about this today. So we can talk about mental health and Gen Z. So yes, I'm here. Ask me whatever questions you have and I will do my best.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I mean, we can start with the basics. What do you think makes Gen Z's approach to mental health unique in a way compared to previous generations, maybe?
Yeah. I think what makes it unique. So first of all, I think they approach mental health with an openness and an acceptance that I think the other generations did not. Right? So in my generation, we didn't talk about mental health. Like what mental health? Get up and do whatever you have to do. So there was really a lack of awareness. But I think what has aided or what has supported, the Gen Zers to do that is just the access to information, right? I didn't grow up in the age of internet and smartphones, and so information wasn't as accessible to me growing up. As it is to the generations now. So of course there's more of an awareness, there's more of an understanding of what is going on, and I think that awareness has also created a sense of acceptance of what is going on, right? Because I tend to believe that that lack of acceptance comes from an ignorance. Like if I don't know something, then I get scared of it. So the more I know about it, the more there's an acceptance of it. So I believe, just the accessibility of information has made it that much easier for people to raise that awareness and thus, accept more.
Yeah. I mean, in regards to when you mentioned, obviously, the access to information and being more open to it, I know a lot of it has come from social media, which has been a huge thing, especially that we're the generation of technology, smartphones, the internet, all of it. Do you think social media has had has helped normalize, I guess, more mental health conversations, or do you think it made it a little bit more complicated?
No, I think both. So I think, when there's authentic information on social media, I think that's very, that's very good. And I think it again, creates a lot of awareness, creates a lot of, acceptance of mental health. But there's also a lot of not good stuff there, or people who are not authentic. So then I think there's an overuse. Everybody's a narcissist. Everybody has ADHD. And so, but I think that does a disservice,
right,
to people who are actually maybe in narcissistic relationships or maybe do suffer from ADHD because there's then an idea that, I'm not going to take you that seriously because, well, everybody is, right? So I think there's an overgeneralization, overuse of mental health ideologies, which can be a disservice. So there's a lot more people who are self-diagnosing. I mean, I have clients who will come and say, I have borderline personality disorder. maybe they do, maybe they don't. So, but they come in almost knowing, because they've gone through this checklist on social media or on the internet, and but I have this and this and this. And interestingly enough, Amanda, so we all in the field of psychology have to take in our undergraduate, so our bachelor's in psychology, we have to take a course in abnormal psychology. I remember my first day in that class. I was in Connecticut, and the professor walked in, and before he started teaching, he said, "Listen, guys, I'm just going to make you all aware that as we go through these disorders, you're not going to find yourselves in these disorders, right? Everybody has traits of these disorders, but that's not the goal of the course, and that's not the goal of social, like that shouldn't be the goal of social media or any sort of information dissemination, that okay, now everybody has it, because we all do have traits, right? So I could be a little OCD-ish about the way I organize my stuff, but that doesn't mean I have OCD, right? Because so understanding that it has to cause a significant distress in your functioning, your social, occupational functioning, maybe in school. And if it doesn't, it's not a disorder, because we all have traits of some of that. So I think that social media has just kind of, minimized what those disorders are. And so, there's a lot more people kind of self-diagnose.
Yeah, I've definitely heard, again, like we mentioned when we first started this episode, I am part of Gen Z. And lucky enough, I get to be a part of like the psychology field. So I definitely do hear a good handful of people my age or even younger using terms loosely, in a sense, when it comes to the self-diagnosis or even having relationship problems. Like I hear, they're a narcissist, or like it's very, I do agree with you. It is thrown around, like words are thrown around all the time. Right. And it is being taken less seriously when it comes to.
Right. And I think it's a disservice to then people who are in those relationships or who do have those disorders, right? Because then it's hard to take them seriously. So I think people just need to be a little more mindful of, yes, I'm getting, I can get information from social media, but what is the source, right, of that information in social media? Like, what are the the accounts that you're following, and what is the validity of those people who are actually giving out this information? Are they trained professionals? Do they really know what they're talking about? Is it backed by research? So just questioning it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, great. that would have led me to my next question. Like, I feel like nowadays it's hard to kind of distinct it between like fake media kind of, and then like the actual, they're trying to help you real media. Do you have any type of advice to kind of like differentiate the two?
Yeah, so I think like this, right? So who's giving that information? Right? What are the credentials of the person who's giving out this information? I mean, again, are they, look, in the United States and all over the world, if you are a psychologist or if you're a therapist, you have to be licensed. You have to go through a significant amount of training. So, you really do want to make sure. And then even within that training, right? So we have therapists who not necessarily are trained in personality disorders, because school does not offer that much information. One course you take. So really, I think checking the credentials of the person that's giving out the information, where do they work, what are their licensures, what is their education. Understanding that, I think, is extremely important. And then also, don't believe one person. Please go do your own research, right? So because we do have access to that information. So if you hear something from someone and maybe it's a credible source, great. You can back that with with more research that you do. So just getting your information from credible sources, I think that's, the National Institute of Health, I mean, NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness, organizations that give out this information, and professionals who give out this information, but checking the credentials.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've definitely heard a lot, especially with the rise of ChatGPT and AI and stuff. I've definitely heard a good amount of comments saying, "Oh no, I use ChatGPT as my therapist," or
Please,
I use
don't.
ChatGPT to diagnose me. I was like, "Oh, okay." Like
Yeah,
they'll list
don't.
out what they feel and then they wait for an answer and then they kind of like
Yeah.
run with it. And it's like, okay, seeing it is kind of hard to believe sometimes, but
Yes. And I'll tell you something else. We work with insurances, right? So I do have to give a diagnosis because, well,
right.
otherwise I won't get paid. But really, what's more important is the symptoms, right? Do I need a diagnosis? Not really.
Right.
What I need to know is, okay, what are you struggling with? What are the symptoms? So I can help you with that. So maybe even changing that mindset, that I don't need to have a diagnosis. What I need to know is, okay, what are the behaviors, or what are the challenging thoughts that I have, or what are some of the emotions that I struggle with, and let's see how I can manage those. So maybe even to a certain extent, moving away from that, I don't need to tell
Right.
ChatGPT to diagnose me.
Yeah, I've definitely seen people, I know a lot of people prefer to like label themselves as one and stick to it. Just, I feel like it's the point of not understanding, like, you don't have to, I guess, not boundary yourself in, like, into one thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know specifically with Gen Z, I know they like try to focus on different things at a time. Do you have anything in specific, like, do you think any core values shape the way Gen Z views mental health most of the time?
In my experience, and listen, you can tell me more, but in my experience, I think one is, I think they value their mental health, which is a good thing, and they value self-care. For instance, I think that for them that whole work-life balance thing is very important to them. So all those things are good. I think where it can get a little complicated is when it's only life and no work.
Right.
Sometimes they just drawing that balance, because so my generation, I think we leaned more towards the work. So we didn't have a balance. We worked more. Productivity was so important to us. I mean, that was really what drove us every day, and that's what we thought we needed to do. But then somewhere our mental health suffered.
Right.
I think for Gen Z, it's the other side of it, where it's like, okay, but I want my life. My life is important,
Right.
but I'm not that sure about work. Work can come secondary. So I think, while they value that life, and I think it's very important, and I'm, I'm impressed that the Gen Zers are able to do that. I think just understanding that there's that balance that needs to be drawn between what you want to achieve, because also Gen Zers grew up in an environment where everything is click of a finger. I can order something on Amazon today and I'll have it same day shipping.
Right.
I mean, I can literally have it in a few hours, right? All I have to do is pay $3 extra and then I'll get it. So when you grow up with that mindset, I mean, and it's not because that's the access y'all had. I think sometimes they tend to look at also results of work or hard work in the same way. So the old values of patience, loyalty, integrity, somewhere then those things are getting compromised because I don't like my work today, so I'm going to leave it. No, maybe just a little patient, work through those challenging moments, instead of saying no, forget it, this is too stressful, I'm just going to call it quits, right? So I think just understanding where that balance is would, I think, serve very well for the Gen Zers. And listen, if you don't agree with something,
No.
again, this is the generation we're talking about. I am all ears.
I definitely do see a mix of both ends, especially with the people who grew up with parents who are, again, from other generations, and they push on what is mental health. Like, what, like, no, homework, school, work, you know, join a sport, join a million clubs. Like, I definitely see that, and I did see it in high school. And then, you know, you have the other end of the spectrum where it's, no, 2 weeks off mental break, like all of it. I've definitely seen the extreme of both ends. And I do agree with you. I don't really have anything I disagree with. They do center around a lot self-care and their own benefits in a way, like their own, which
Yes.
again, you know, everybody should, not strictly
Yes.
just Gen Z. I feel like everybody should open that door a little bit and realize, okay, maybe take a step back for a second, you know, live life a little bit and then get back to work. Like, I feel like that's
Yes.
obviously the great
Yes.
balance that a lot of people
Yes.
just can't come to terms with.
Right. But yes, I feel that as far as, you know, that acceptance and the, you know, that I need to take care of my mental health, I definitely think the Gen Zers are way ahead of you know, the other generations that, you know, the earlier generations. Somewhere, again, you know, you know, just that balance would be great.
Yeah, I mean, if that was like the one message, what would be one message that you think Gen Zers or even older generations should be able to take from like this episode? Yeah, I mean, if that was like the one message, what would be one message that you think Gen Zers or even older generations should be able to take from like this episode?
So the older generations, I would say, listen, take care of yourself more. You know, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to talk, you know, about things that are going on, because it is very difficult for people to be vulnerable. It's very difficult for people to talk, especially, again, I'm talking about my generation. For the Gen Zers, I would say, listen, you guys are doing great. Just know where you're getting your information from, and don't use mental health as a crutch. Because it's not. You know, use that information to empower yourselves. Use that information to be the best version of yourselves that you can be. Don't use it because, you know, now I need a short-term disability. For 3 months I cannot work because I'm slightly anxious. No, maybe empower yourself to work through some of those things so that you can be the best version of yourself, right? So that's kind of my little takeaway for the Gen Zers.
Perfect, and it makes sense, definitely. I definitely hope people can realize a little bit more that not everything, you know, follows a trend on social media, which I've seen different TikTok trends. I've seen different, do this on your next, I don't know, different life advice. I don't know. It's like the most random things. So yeah, I definitely do agree. Hopefully they're able to see a difference between the fake and the real, and then hopefully older generations are able to take, you know, a little bit of a break for themselves, just out of enjoyment and relaxation.
Yes. Self-care.
Right.
But thank you so much, Amanda, for bringing up such an important topic. I love having these discussions with you, and it's great because, look, I get perspectives from you as much as you get from me.
Right.
So, you know, thank you for bringing such important topics.
Well, thank you for helping us figure it out a little bit more. And thank you for giving, again, the great life advice and reliable information, which, again, this is a huge source that younger generations can use rather than like a 30-second video that they see on a TikTok. So,
absolutely. Anytime. Well, until next time.
Until next time. Thank you. Bye.